Commander Zeftar of the Galactic Council's reconnaissance fleet stared at the holographic display with mounting dread. The sleek, angular vessels on the screen bore the unmistakable markings of human design, aggressive, purposeful, and utterly terrifying to every civilized species in the galaxy. "Sir," Lieutenant Crixal whispered, her tentacles trembling as she operated the sensor array, "they're hailing us." For 3 centuries, the Galactic Council had maintained a strict policy regarding the Sol system: absolute avoidance. The humans had emerged from their small blue world like a plague, spreading through their local stellar neighborhood with a ferocity that defied comprehension. Every species that had attempted contact had either fled in terror or simply vanished entirely. The communication channel crackled to life, and a voice calm, almost friendly, filled the bridge. "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Prometheus. You've entered human territorial space. State your intentions." Zeftar's 4 hearts hammered in his chest cavity. In all his research on humans, he had never heard one speak so casually about territorial violations. Most species would have opened fire by now or demanded immediate surrender. "This is Commander Zeftar of the Galactic Council Exploration Vessel Harmony," he replied, fighting to keep his voice steady. "We come in peace, seeking to understand." "Peace?" The human's laugh was a sound unlike anything in Zeftar's experience, not the harmonious tones of his people or the chittering of the insectoids, but something that seemed to contain both joy and danger simultaneously. "Commander, with respect, your ship is armed with quantum disruptors and carries a full complement of combat marines." That's an interesting definition of peace. The accuracy of the assessment sent shivers through the bridge crew. Their sensors were supposed to be undetectable. Nevertheless, Captain Chen continued, "You haven't fired on us, so we'll extend the same courtesy. Follow my ship to Station 12. We'll talk there." The connection terminated, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Lieutenant Crixal was the first to speak. "Sir, they're escorting us instead of destroying us." Zeftar nodded slowly. This was already unlike every report in the Council archives. Humans were supposed to be unreasonable, violent, and utterly without diplomatic sense. Yet this Captain Chen had demonstrated tactical awareness, proportional response, and even a form of hospitality. Station 12 turned out to be a massive orbital facility, bristling with defensive installations, but also clearly designed for commerce and diplomacy. As their ship was guided into a docking bay, Zeftar noticed something that made his blood run cold. The station's design incorporated defensive features from at least 12 different alien architectural styles. "Sir," his tactical officer Morgan reported grimly, "those defensive systems, they're built from technologies I recognize. They're E-shield generators, Vorlak plasma cannons, Zeltron stealth fields." The implication was clear. Humans didn't just defeat their enemies, they studied them, learned from them, and incorporated their strengths into their own systems. It was a level of adaptive warfare that no other species had ever demonstrated. Captain Chen met them at the airlock, and Zeftar was shocked again. She was smaller than he'd expected, with no visible natural weapons, no chitinous armor, no energy-based attack organs. Yet every movement spoke of coiled violence, of a predator, comfortable in its own skin. "Welcome to human space, Commander," she said, gesturing for them to follow. "I imagine you have questions." As they walked through the station's corridors, Zeftar observed something that challenged everything he thought he knew about humans. The crew was diverse, not just humans, but representatives from dozens of species, all working together with apparent harmony. He spotted a Theknari engineer collaborating with human technicians, a group of crystalline entities serving as computational advisors, even a few of the notoriously antisocial void whisperers integrated into the communication staff. You're wondering why they're here, Captain Chen observed, noting his stare. Most of them chose to join us after first contact. Turns out, when you don't try to conquer or enslave people, they sometimes want to stick around. But the reports, Zeftar managed, every species that's encountered humans has either fled or disappeared. Chen's expression darkened slightly. Commander, in your 300 years of avoiding us, did anyone ever bother to ask what those encounters actually entailed? They entered a conference room where a holographic display activated, showing archival footage from various first contact scenarios. Zeftar watched in growing horror as he saw the pattern, species after species approaching human space with fleets of warships, demands for submission, or attempts at conquest. The Hegemony Collective came with 1,000 ships and a demand that we surrender our resources, Chen explained calmly. The Purifier cult decided our impure genetics needed cleansing. The Merchant Kings thought we'd make excellent slaves. Each scenario played out on the display. We gave them all the same choice we're giving you: talk or face the consequences. And those who chose to fight, Chen's smile was sharp as a blade. We taught them why evolution favored predators. The final piece of the puzzle clicked into place for Zeftar. Humans weren't monsters. They were what happened when a species evolved on a death world where everything was trying to kill them, developed intelligence, compassion, and technological prowess, but never lost the fundamental understanding that sometimes violence was the only language that worked. So, Captain Chen continued, the question isn't why no one dares cross into human space. The question is, are you here to talk, or are you here to join the long list of species that learned the hard way why we survived when most wouldn't? Commander Zeftar looked around the room at the diverse crew, then back at Captain Chen's expectant face. For the first time in 3 centuries, a representative of the Galactic Council smiled at a human. Captain Chen, he said, I think it's time our species learned to talk.